In today's video, I'll be going over a quick market update to help you navigate what should potentially be an exciting December. We'll be looking at historical price performance for Bitcoin at this point in the year, as well as what's currently going on with Ethereum and the rest of the altcoin market. So we can see now that ever since tagging the $91,000 mark, Bitcoin has kind of just been consolidating around 95K. Now it seems like the market is a little bit split in terms of what's going to happen with Bitcoin. We have some people thinking that we will crash down below $80,000, and others seem to believe that we will just explode to the upside through to $120,000. One thing that I can point out here is that Bitcoin has really gone through some consolidation and then some expansion periods in the market. And we can see here that we are potentially at the end of this expansionary period. Now, that doesn't mean that we immediately need to turn bearish, because it is very likely that if it continues to repeat what's been going on throughout this cycle, we can expect some more consolidation for Bitcoin around these levels. And yes, we can dip into the $80,000 levels and perhaps maybe even below 80K. But the ultimate outlook here is very bullish. We can see here when we hit the March top, once we consolidated for 8 months straight, it gave us so much firepower to explode to the upside into where we are now. And so if we are to consolidate here, even if it's for a couple months, this could very well fuel our next move higher, well into the six-figure territory for Bitcoin. Now, looking at the rest of the market, we can see that there has definitely been a shift in altcoins. This week, meme coins have been underperforming the rest of the market, as we see a shift from meme coins into utility coins, AI coins, and even the gaming coins. Popcat, Peanut, Bonk, Pepe, Whiff, Floki, all of these coins are down this week. Meanwhile, a lot of utility, AI, and gaming coins have been exploding to the upside this week. Now, we know that Bitcoin determines the rest of the market, so we want to know if this bullish momentum will continue for altcoins, or are we hitting a local top? Well, one thing to consider is this post that I found on Twitter by Charles Edwards. Basically, he's saying that this is where we currently are in the Bitcoin cycle. Every time a monthly all-time high has been broken with strength, we have seen at least 4 massive monthly candles over the following months. We are just warming up. We can see here that in 2013, the monthly all-time high got broken through with strength, and we saw some massive bullish candles. Same thing into 2017, same thing into 2020-21. And then now we are currently at the period in the market where we saw an explosive break past all-time highs as Trump was announced the president. We went basically from $73,000 all the way to where we are now, the 95K mark. That is over $20,000 in price movement for Bitcoin. And to be honest, I think that we are just getting started. Then of course, this isn't new to you, but there's always been some bullish news going on within these past weeks. Hong Kong plans for tax exemptions on crypto gains for private equity funds, hedge funds, and high net worth investment vehicles. Country by country are slowly starting to follow suit, removing taxes or lowering their taxes, adding strategic national Bitcoin reserves. It's looking very bullish for what's to come. Now, also, the Bitcoin spot ETFs. We can see that yesterday we saw over $100 million in inflows. Now, I know compared to the billion-dollar inflow days, it's not much. But considering the fact that we saw outflows for 2 consecutive days, this might be a sign that things are to turn around for the Bitcoin spot ETFs. Ethereum, on the other hand, we can see that we wicked all the way up to basically $3,700 per ETH. Now, this is very bullish because it likely fuels the rest of the altcoin market. But there is one thing that we need to consider here, and that's the fact that as Ethereum started properly pumping for the first time in a while, we got some news that Jeffrey Wilk, the Ethereum co-founder, had deposited 20,000 Ethereum worth about $72.5 million to Kraken today, just as ETH made that strong move. And this is actually the 4th time that he's unloaded his ETH in 2024, totaling over 44,000 ETH at an average price of $3,342. Usually when we see massive whales like this deposit any kind of cryptocurrency on an exchange, it is an indicator that they are planning on selling. And actually, as this news hit, this is when we started to see Ethereum not being able to break through that $3,700 level. Now, for the rest of the bull market, one of my predictions is that Ethereum will likely hit over $7,000. It's hard to make these kinds of predictions, and I'm typically someone that's a little bit more conservative when it comes to these things. I know there's a lot of people that have predicted that Ethereum would hit, say, $20,000 this cycle. I think it's in the cards in the future, but not necessarily this cycle. My minimum target is a $7,000 ETH, and so that would provide another 2x from here. Now, I know that a lot of you are more into altcoins, but keep in mind that for our altcoins to really perform well, we naturally need ETH to lead the way. And so a potential $7,000 Ethereum would, of course, fuel the rest of the market. But at that point, we would also expect Bitcoin to be well into the six figures. Again, whenever I mention price targets, these are obviously just my own predictions and they are not financial advice. Something else for Bitcoin that we should point out, though, is the fact that the last election halving year, which was in 2020, Bitcoin experienced a massive drop on Thanksgiving Day, pulling back over 15% on that week. And then we saw a negative 8% candle on the daily. So it's important to consider that we may see another shakeout. Now, something else that I need to point out that might counteract this is the fact that historically during election years, Bitcoin typically has very bullish Decembers. We can see that in 2020, Bitcoin went up 48% in just December alone. And then in 2016, Bitcoin went up 30% in December alone. And so the odds are in our favor that Bitcoin can have another bullish month ahead. Now, from a liquidity perspective, on the 2-day chart, we can see that there is a lot of liquidity to be grabbed around the $94,500 mark. If you're in some highly leveraged long positions, you do need to consider this as well, because we came down to just below $91,000 and everyone rushed in to start longing Bitcoin immediately in preparation for that long-awaited 100K move. But the markets don't always give us exactly what we want, and so it would not surprise me once again if this liquidity is tapped into before we fuel our next leg higher. Okay, so that covers a quick update on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and how we've shifted from the meme coin narrative to the utility, AI, and gaming narrative. I still think that meme coins will be performing very well into 2025, as the rest of the market should. But for now, we are seeing a little bit of capital rotation. Now, I still think that there will likely be another shakeout before Bitcoin and altcoins explode to the upside. But this shakeout would provide yet again another excellent opportunity to get into some positions before the market takes off once again. Speaking of opportunities, I'm pleased to announce that I'm working with Weeks, a top-tier crypto exchange with some of the best withdrawable bonuses in the crypto industry. You can earn up to $20,000 in withdrawable bonuses by clicking the first link in my description. It's as simple as clicking the link and completing just a few tasks to essentially get what is very easy withdrawable bonuses. For example, the first task is to just register and link your phone number and email to claim 20 USDT. Effortless. Then the next one is literally to just complete KYC to get another free $10. And then another easy one after this is to make a $200 deposit to get 100 USDT back. Again, these are withdrawable rewards. And as you can see, there are a ton of different tasks that you can complete, which adds up to a total of $20,000 in bonuses. Make sure you don't miss out because this is for a limited time only. So I mentioned that I am expecting a little bit of a pullback in the market. Perhaps it's not as low as what Rand said that I presented in yesterday's video. Basically, he's expecting somewhere between $73,000 and $78,000. Because I do have to also agree with what Miles Dutcher is saying here. December is historically a bullish month for Bitcoin, especially in the election years. For the S&P 500, no month is more likely to be higher than December in an election year. So that's another thing going our way, because as we've seen, as the stock market keeps on grinding up, so has Bitcoin, especially this year. Then this is one of the biggest ones. So the Trump inauguration is on January 20th. And the thing is, the trade still has to be in play. Do we really think that we're going to retrace that entire move? Because the move from 73K all the way up until where we are today was indeed fueled by Trump winning the election. And lastly, it's clear that there's a lot of capital that is still sidelined, waiting to get into the market. Now, this doesn't mean that we will just explode to the upside, but it does give us a more bullish outlook into the end of the year and into 2025. But what do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.